I'm just going to say deliverance. Deliverance. Father God, we come at this time and we thank you for deliverance. Because when we have truth in the inner parts, there is deliverance in your God. So God, we're asking in the name of Jesus that you would speak to our hearts, so that we will see you. I ask God once again that you would hide me behind your cross and cover me with your blood from the top of my head to the very soles of my feet, O God, and from the right and to the left, O God. And then, O God, I'm asking that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart will be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength, our rock, and our Redeemer. Let the people of God agree by saying, Amen. Deliverance. Because when we have truth in the inner parts, we shall be delivered. And so, beloved, as I come today and lift up this scripture, and as we come, I come looking also at our culture and where we are and what we hear. And many of you know that I'm looking at Jay-Z today and that particular album that was released probably just a month ago, 444. Some of us may know exactly what it is, and others are saying, what does that mean? But I want to let you know that as I heard the noise, if you will, about that album, the latest album by Sean Carter, also known as Jay-Z, his 13th album that he dropped, to be specific, and 13 happens to be my favorite number. I heard God speaking and talking because, see, some of us are listening to it and some of us are not. But whatever is going on in the world, we ought to know about it. And so I heard God speaking and saying, I need to build a bridge from the 21st century to a little bit before the first century. And I said, go ahead. And built it. And then God said, I need an interpreter. And I said, go ahead and get one. And God said, I need a conduit. And I said, not me. I'm not the one. And then this happened. Beloved, what do you do when you wake up at 4:44 a.m. on the cusp of dawn, yet in the midst of darkness? What do you do when you wake up at 4:44 a.m., only having to deal with your PM, your past mistakes, your previous missteps, trying to perform your own post-mortem? What do you do when you wake up at 4:44 a.m. and look into the mirror and say, I don't even now know him? What do you do when you wake up at 4:44 a.m. feeling blue, looking at blue, praying that blue won't grow up and judge you? What do you do when you wake up at 4:44 a.m. as your life flashes before your eyes and you realize that your life has been based on lies, and you realize that good hair could never really be there for you? What do you do when you wake up at 4:44 a.m.? You pick up your pen and you begin to see miracles that could only be because of him. Oh my. Some of us understand because we know the lyrics and we know the situation, because it was penned, this particular album, at 4:44 a.m. He says that he woke up at 4:44 a.m. and he was able to pen the words of this particular song that he has put at the anchor of his album. And he says that this particular song meant more to him than any others, and he believes that it is the best song that he has ever written. And so I wanted to know, what happens when you wake up at 4:44 a.m. in the midst of darkness and find that God is speaking to you? So I was convicted that it's not enough to listen to the music, but we must interpret it in light of our hermeneutical stance. Oh yeah, somebody's asking what that is. I throw that in so you know that I'm just not making this up, amen, that I know what I'm talking about. In light of your hermeneutical stance, in light of who you are, in light of all the things that you have been through, and therefore as Christians, we must be able to look and understand what God is speaking to us. And so therefore, as Christians living in the world, we cannot let things just pass us by. And somebody had the nerve to say to me, a few people did, well, pastor, and then some people at work, but did you look at the lyrics? Yeah, I looked at the lyrics. Oh, yeah. I looked at the lyrics, but I began to see that the lyrics are just a distraction. All of them, some of them are just a distraction. Because you have to understand that in this world, you got to get past the distraction to look at the stuff. And the words that are there are things that our children are hearing and things that they pick up and things that they are repeating. And so I want to let them know I got to look past the words and got to look past some of those words that I would not even begin to think about or say, because there is a message that you have to understand that's beyond them. I'm trying to say, don't let the words distract you. Don't let the words keep you from listening to the same music that your children are listening to and understanding. Because when you do that, you will forget and you will miss, and they'll be walking into stuff. And don't you know, those are the words that we hear every day. And we got to let them know that we will not be dissuaded by the words, that we will not be distracted by the words, that we will look past some of those words to understand what's underneath the thing that's going on. Life is filled with distractions, and we have to teach our children, and each and one of us, to be able to move past the distractions and move forward and past despite the distractions. Don't get caught up in the distractions. Too many of us are not moving forward because we're caught up in the distractions of our life. And I know that some things just happen, but distractions, you got to learn how to look past them. You got to learn how to walk around them. You got to learn how to jump over them. You got to learn how to crawl under them. You cannot let the distractions of life block you. Distractions will ambush your destination. Distractions will take your eye off the prize. And so I cannot allow the unpleasant words to distract me. I cannot get caught up in that. They're real, but they're distractions, and I must ignore them. Because they're not going to go away, but I must learn how to get around them. You see, it's not enough to listen to the music. The question becomes, what is our response? And I believe that this particular song, and even the song, this whole album is so much into it, and even Beyonce's live album is nothing about, it's all about, I want to say, hurt and pain and heartache. And so today I ask us, how do we get over being lied to? How do we get over public humiliation? Our response must be more than going to the next concert. Our response must be more than buying the album and listening and seeing the beautiful image of reconciled couple and wanting to know how come we can't have that. We often romanticize hurt, betrayal, trying to get to the happily ever after that never seems to be there. But we don't hear a lot about what it takes to fall in love again. We don't hear about what it takes to become whole again. It takes looking at self. It takes often hurtful and painful communication, honest communication. Our response must be like the songwriters, mature, reflective. And I have to say, as we look at this, we have to understand that in the midst of every hurt and pain and disappointment, I believe, in the midst of every pain, hurt, and disappointment, God is in the midst. And so when we look at that, every hurt and pain and disappointment, when you walk through the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, God is in the midst. Amen. From Adam and Eve all the way down to John on the Isle of Patmos, God is in the midst. At the fall, God is in the midst of the hurt and the pain that even hurt him so much that he covered them, even as he put them out of the garden. And even if we go to the Isle of Patmos, God is in the midst right there saying, everyone whosoever will, he says, if I stand at the door and knock, why don't you come on in? And so I believe that in the hurt, the midst, and pain and disappointment, God is there. We have to be able to find him. Just as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the midst of that hurt and pain of being in the fiery furnace, God showed up. Come on, and just as Daniel in the midst of holding on to God and thinking that God and people might have rejected him, and went into the lion's den. But early in the morning, he said, "Oh King, live forever. My God is able." Come on, somebody. In the midst of hurt and pain, God is right there. Come on and ask Jeremiah. He wants to know, in your mother's womb I was able to make you. And he wants you to know that he's got plans for you, a hope and a future. Come on, somebody, and ask Isaiah. In the midst of all that is going on, in chapter 40, he goes, woe to the people. But he wants to let you know all you have to do is anyone wait on the Lord. Yes, Lord. And be of good courage. He will mount you up. He will rise you up. In the midst of hurt, pain, and heartache, God and Jesus is there. Ask Martha and Mary. Lazarus is not dead. Lazarus is just sleeping. And so with that undergirding faith in the belief that in the midst of hurt, heartache, and pain, that God is right there, I see God in this particular piece of work. And so I want to propose from a Christian perspective. And therefore, because of my Christian perspective, I'm able to juxtapose this 21st century songwriter's painful confession with another songwriter. A mature individual, the songwriter of the 51st division of the book of Psalms. The songwriter is a man named David that had an affair with a woman named Bathsheba. And if I can use my Holy Ghost imagination, I would say she might have had some good hair. Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to help somebody. Oh, yeah. And he had that affair with Bathsheba. But I want to bring you to 2 Samuel, that 12th chapter. And David is approached by a prophet named Nathan. Nathan tells David, King David, about a poor man and a rich man. And he tells David about how the rich man took the poor man's little lamb because the rich man didn't want to kill his own lamb. And so he took the poor man's little lamb. And even though he had a whole bunch of land because he was a rich man, he took something that belonged to somebody else. And it says that David, King David, got so incensed that he said that, oh my goodness, that person should be punished. And then Nathan looks at him in the eye and says, you're the one. You are the man. You are the rich man that should be punished. And so I want to go when David reflects upon his deed, he reflects upon his wrongful ways. His heart becomes heavy, and he writes the 51st Psalm. We don't know how long it took between the time that Nathan spoke to David and the time that he wrote the song, a song of confession. I believe and I propose that similarly, Sean Carter penned this album after he had a conversation with God. He might not even know that God was speaking to him. And so I put these two songs side by side to look at some of the things. I might call it a parallel, but not necessarily a parallel. It's not in the words, but it's in the emotions. It's in the stages of progression of their confession. There's similarities in their stories. Both are popular and famous. Both are rich. They both have great access to many things, wealth. And I want to tell you, they both womanize. Oh, yeah. The Bible tells us that. And you go back and you read 2 Samuel, that 11th chapter. It tells us how David sent forth for another man's wife. Oh, yes, they womanize because Carter, by his own confession, when he says, I apologize, often womanize. I apologize to all the women whom I toyed with your emotions because I was emotionless. There are, that's his words, not mine. And so I'm just trying to help you out here. Somebody needs to say that there's some similarities here, that God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Now, the same way that God spoke before, he needs to speak to some of us now in a way that we can understand it. And so there are so many aspects of this album, in particular, even this song, that we can deal with. But I just want to lean in for a moment, if you will. Press the pause button at a couple of the lyrics in here. And I want to let you know the lyrics that it talks about. The pause that I want to have is where he talks about the fact that he says that, he really didn't understand what was taking until he saw the miracle. He says that I don't know. I apologize. He said, I didn't realize what was taking place until I saw the miracle of the twins. He said everything else before then was stillborn because I wasn't present. And I want to let you know, when God shows you a miracle, that's when you begin to turn things around. And when I look at this two particular pieces of work, I just even have to bring out the symbology, or I'm going to call it the subliminal messages of the usual numerology, because if you look at it, the way that it is, if you want to call it its logo, if you want to call it the album cover, it is a 4 with a colon 4, 4. For some of you that know that. So it's written like a scripture. Even when you look at it. So this could be 51 colon 6. And when you see that numerology or that symbology in that place, I believe it's like a subliminal message. It's like popcorn and soda and candy commercials flashing on the screen at the drive-in theater for some of you, or the movie theater for others, sending you to the concession station. I'm just trying to bridge the generations. Some of us know about the drive-in theater. Come on, somebody. I was young, but you know that we couldn't go to any other place. Come on, somebody. And while you're sitting in the car, and some of us have pajamas on because we're small, come on, and then you would all be sitting there, and next thing you know, they show some popcorn, and they show some candy, and the next thing you know, you find yourself getting out of your car, getting out in the car, going all the way to the concession stand to buy more than popcorn and candy. Oh, can I help somebody? And then you want to go to the movie theater. It's the same way today while you're in there. So I'm just bridging the generations and tell you that even though the venue, whether it was the drive-in movie or it's the movie theater, the message was the same. The presentation of the album is out to subliminally bring those of us who know the Lord back to the Lord. You missed that. Yeah. The subliminal message for those of us who know the Lord, for those of us who are running from the Lord, those of us who took a break from the Lord. Oh yeah, you're out there and you're clubbing and you took a break from the Lord. But then you see 4 colon 44. You ought to have a flashback to Sunday school. And you look at it and you begin to think what the Lord has done, because something was planted in you and there's a seed inside of you. I believe that's a subliminal message that we need to be able to pick up on, that even if you have not been in church for a long time, if you understand that word, those words and that symbology begins to flash at you, I believe that you are one who will definitely know the difference between 2 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians. I'm just saying. Come on, somebody. You got me. I just want to make sure I'm in the right place. I'm in the right place. I'm just saying. I'm just suggesting that the numerology was just about the time of day. That numerology cannot be just about the time of day. Because if it was just about the time of day, it would have had an AM or a PM after it. Oh, help me, Holy Ghost. So even sometimes we don't even know, but God plants a seed in us that roots that sometimes that we don't even expect it. So what do you do when you're in heartache and pain? You have a tendency to retreat. But what will you do when that heartache and pain is all because of you? You apologize. But your apology has to be more than saying, I'm sorry. And so in the broken pieces of life, they are to come whole again. We find out through the 51st Psalm that you have to have some revelation, recreation, and restoration. There must be a revelation, a recreation, and restoration. Now the revelation for Sean Carter, I want to say, it took place when he looked at his natural twins. If you read the lyrics, it says, it took for these natural twins to be born for me to believe in miracles. And I just want to say miracles give the revelation about who God is. We need to have a revelation in our lives. And God is still in the miracle working business. Yes, as we said at the beginning of the year, this is the year of miracles. A miracle is that which cannot be explained solely by natural processes, but requires the direct causal agency of a supernatural being, meaning God. The purpose of a miracle is to confirm the gospel. The purpose of a miracle is to let us know that God is still real. And so in the midst of this album, he begins to tell us, I begin to see a miracle. Oh my God, you got to look and see and not take it at the cover. But he says, I saw a miracle. And when he saw a miracle, he began to change. And beloved, I want to let you know today, yes, we want deliverance. So you have to see your miracle. You have to see your miracle in the midst of darkness. You are a miracle. You are a miracle that God has allowed to have life in this place. And you think what he also says in the midst of this whole revelation, he says, if you read it and understand it, he's saying the reason that I wasn't present, he said, the reason that things happened was because I wasn't present, because I wasn't there. And because I wasn't there, things were stillborn. When we're not in the present, life becomes stillborn. Yes, too many of us are in the midst of stillborn situations. Stillborn finances. Stillborn educational status. Stillborn relationships. We are stuck in the stillborn situation. When something is stillborn, it means that it has died. Not only that it has died, it was purposed to give life, but it has died. It has been purposed to go forth, but something has happened and it has died before it's able to bring all that it could be. And the reason he says that stillborn things happen is because of our lack of presence. And so today I ask you, are you present? Are you present in the places that you're supposed to be? Or are you just showing up? Are you present on your job, or are you just showing up? Are you present in your marriage, or are you just showing up? Are you present in your friendships, or are you just showing up? Or can I say, are you present in the house of God, or are you just showing up? Just showing up because it happens to be Sunday. Just showing up because you think it's the thing to do. Just showing up. It's only when you're present that God can be able to do some things. So many of us here, we need to say thank you. Thank you, Lord, despite all the places that I've been. Oh, can I get real? So, thank you, God. This is not for everybody. This is just for some people. I mean, the whole thing. But I just want to say, somebody else say, thank you, God. Despite all the places that I laid, I'm still okay. I'm not dead in my grave. Oh, somebody ought to be able to say that. I thank you, God, that despite all the lies that I told, I'm still here. Despite you, God, despite all the alcohol I drank, I have not been consumed. Despite all the gambling that I've been taken through, that I'm still walking. Despite all the drinking and the drugging, I'm still in my right mind. Despite all the ducking and the dodging, I'm still able to give you the praise. You have to realize that despite all the vicissitudes of your life, your heart is still beating, and you are a miracle. And you ought to say, God, I thank you for the revelation that is because of you, I still am able to be standing despite all of the stuff that I've been through. Oh yeah, you gotta thank God. I believe we have to thank God. Thank God that JC woke up at 4:44 a.m. I don't believe that he may believe, but I don't believe that he just happened to wake up by himself. I will let you know, God doesn't let any of us
us wake up by ourselves. It's God that kept his heart beating. It's God that made his lungs go. How do I know what I think about it? You see, Sean Carter did not just happen to wake up on his own. The alarm clock didn't wake him up. I want to let you know his money didn't wake him up. I want to let you know his popularity didn't wake him up. Why? Because there's many that have that same criteria and they are not here today. Can I call a little bit of the roll? Michael Jackson, gone. Frank Sinatra, gone. Sammy Davis Jr., gone. Biggie Smalls, gone. Tupac Shakur, gone. Prince, gone. I'm just trying to tell somebody it has nothing to do with your money. It has nothing to do with your popularity. The only reason that you can get up is because God is good. That he touched you with his hand of love and he kept us in our right mind. And that same God is the God that's here today. And so we have to have that revelation in our lives that who God is. And when God reveals it, no matter which way he reveals it, you got to understand that God is speaking to us. And that's why David had that revelation when his Nathan spoke to him and he began to be able to have a type of confession. And when he began to have a type of confession, it brought him to what I'm going to call a recreation. He began to write that psalm. And I believe that's when Jay-Z or Sean Carter began to write his song. God will do that to you. God will give you a confession. He'll give you a song in your heart. He'll give you words to be able to put down. There comes a times in our life that we have to look in the mirror and at ourselves. We must deal with the reality of our lives and look in the mirror and own our own stuff. I'm here, you're here, we're here because of the choices that we made, good, bad, or indifferent.
Thank you, Lord.
God, when David wrote the psalm, he said, Lord, have mercy on me. Have mercy according to your loving kindness. Have mercy according to your tender mercies. Wash me from my iniquity. Cleanse me from my sins. Wash me with hyssop. Make me hear joy and gladness. Hide your face from my sin. Blot out all my transgressions. Cast me not away from thy presence. Take not your Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation. Uphold me with your free spirit. Oh, somebody ought to say, deliver me. Open my lips. Create in me a clean heart. And renew a right spirit in me. Sometimes we've got to look at self. When the revelation comes, the recreation isn't all the time about somebody else. We have to own our own stuff. This is personal. It's all about me. We must learn how to look inward and claim that God, do your work on me. Recreate me into what you desire for me to be. And then God will have, what I'm saying, restoration. He will give us a clean heart. He will renew you a right spirit. And so we have to understand that God wants us to have a new start, a Genesis experience. And so when it comes to restoration, we have to understand that God wants us to be whole and whole. And restoration calls for us to get rid of the old stuff and embrace the new. And in that frame, I just want to say that if there's some things in us that are stillborn, even when the embryo dies, it has to be expelled. And the reason that many of us are still where we are is because we haven't delivered the stillborn embryo. So we have to have God do a Genesis work in our lives. He says he needs a makeover. That's what Jay-Z says. The do-over. God, some of us want a do-over. but we want to do over with you and you alone. God is in the do-over business. He's in the miracle working business. God is the one that will put us on the potter's wheel. Not because we deserve a second chance, but because God is great and mighty and merciful. And God is gracious. And God is God all by God's self. Oh yes, I want to let you know, sometimes you have to get to God and say, Lord, it's me standing in the need of prayer. And for some of us, this song was just a little bit too new, so I have to go old school on you. And I want you to remember the Temptations. And they said, I'm not too proud to beg. I know you want to leave me, but I refuse, come on, to let you go. If I have to beg and plead for your, oh yeah, now I got you, yeah. I got both sides. I have to beg and plead for your sympathy. I don't mind, because you're what? Means so much to me. Oh, I'm in the right place now. I had to make sure I get this generation. Come on, I got that generation, and I got that generation. Come on, somebody. I just want to let you know that God is in the midst of it all. And he speaks to us through this songwriter. We need to recognize that there's somebody bigger than you and I. And it's God who is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the supreme being of creation, who specializes in hovering over our mess and creating wonderful things out of the chaos that we have created. And so that God is the one who will give us the revelation. It is God is the one that's going to be able to say that he's got to give us a recreation. And God is going to give us a restoration. For his word says that if anyone be in him, they are a new creation. And so I just want to thank God that in the midst of 4:44 a.m., when God spoke to Jay-Z in the 21st century, he was letting him write a song like David wrote to say, God, I want to say, because you are the God of miracles, and because I saw you, I'm turning my life around. Come on, somebody. He says that I apologize for all of the things that I have done. I wish I had somebody up in here today that was not afraid to say, God, I apologize. I wish you could go home and tell somebody, I apologize. You need to go to the job and tell somebody, I apologize. Now, if you can't do that, just turn to the neighbor on your pew and say, I apologize. And they say, oh, come on. You say, and what am I apologizing for? What? Because I'm a sinner saved by grace. I apologize because God is greater and he is mighty. I apologize because if it had not been for the Lord, where would I be? I apologize for every time that I wasn't present. I apologize for letting the embryo go small. And so today, I just want to let you know, every now and then, you need to have somebody to help you push. Oh, yeah. I don't know about you. I've never had any children, but they tell me that no matter what, if you're going to be delivered, you got to push. And so I just want to let you know, up in here today, we need deliverance. Deliverance. Oh, somebody say deliverance. Deliverance from the world. And sometimes, Tracy, we need another part and another pair of hands. We need a midwife to help us push. Oh, I wish I had somebody who could help us push. Come on, somebody. Turn to your neighbor and say, I'm going to help you get delivered today. Oh, yeah, I'm going to help you get delivered today. I'm going to tell you to push. I'm going to tell you to pray until something happens. Oh, yeah, you got to be delivered. I think deliverance in the house of God today. You will not leave here with stillborn stuff inside of you. Every man, every woman, every child needs to know how to push. We have got to teach our children how to push. Push some stuff out the way. Push some stuff off the path. You got to teach people how to pray until something happens. And when something happens, Jesus will show up. I'm so glad at 4:44 a.m. that God gave a word to the people of this generation. And I'm declaring to let them know what it is. It's not about the stuff that you think it is, because I see God in everything. And I believe that God is writing between those words to tell somebody that no matter what, you can apologize and you can get deliverance today. Oh, yeah. I don't know what you came to hear. I don't know what you thought you're going to hear. But the only thing I know is Jesus. I just know him. I know Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah, that's the only thing I